rewind. This is Dope Nostalgia.
We did it. Oh my goodness, this is episode 200 of Dope Nostalgia. I never could imagine that it would still be going strong, and it is, and it's always growing. So thank you so much to all of our listeners and supporters for making this podcast as successful as it is. I'm your host, Naomi, and today's episode is a huge, exciting deal to me. I was hoping that we could make this happen. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. And with the help of Corey Blakely, one of the original members, it happened. The reunion of Perfect Gentlemen. They haven't seen each other, spoke together in quite some time, and they're going to tell you more about that shortly. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background information first on Perfect Gentlemen. Wikipedia moment. Perfect Gentlemen were an American trio of teen R&B vocalists formed under the direction of Maurice Starr, who discovered New Edition and New Kids on the Block. Starr put the group together in Boston in 1988 and had them tour the U.S., opening for New Kids on the Block. An album and a video followed, and the group scored a hit single with Ooh La La, I Can't Get Over You, in 1990, which peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 12 on the R&B hip-hop charts. The members' original three were Corey Blakely, Maurice Starr Jr., and Tyrone Sutton. Tyrone now going by Taymullah. Mass Pike Miles and Stephen Starr later joined the group after the departure of Tyrone Sutton. All five members were very important to the group. And not only that, 4 of those 5 members are here with us today for the great reunion of Perfect Gentlemen. Big shout out to Mass Pike Miles, who couldn't be with us, but you're there with us in spirit. This is Perfect Gentlemen. All right, Perfect Gentlemen. It is such a special moment to have you here together. And I've been waiting for the day we could get you guys on the show and learn what you're doing now. My special guest today is also Karella Cummings, who's my co-host, and we both have some amazingly exciting questions for you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right.
For having us. Pleasure.
Stephen, Corey, Taymullah are our guests right now. We might be seeing Maurice Starr Jr. eventually. We'll see. Now, we talked a little bit already, but for the listeners, how often do you guys keep in touch?
We're a text away for the most part. It's in waves, but we all speak to each other. I mean, I think I speak to just about everybody. So, yeah.
Is there a group chat?
There is now.
Okay. Good.
It's funny. See, I was telling the 2 ladies that before y'all got on that me personally, this is like probably the first time in 31 years that we've been together as a group.
Yeah.
And you all can correct me if I'm wrong, but like this is the first time in 31 years that like as the Perfect Gentleman we've gotten together. So like that's amazing to me. Like there was a period where I personally dropped off the map just in search of an identity and my own life and my own beliefs and choices. So I was like in my own kind of isolation for a while, but I guess maybe about 10 years ago or so we reconnected. I reconnected with the guys, and they had continued their relationship. So I'm just thankful that they were able to welcome me in and like I never left. And so it's a real brotherhood, really it is.
Well, that makes me happy. What a blessing.
It's beautiful. I mean, 31 years ago, we was on the stage. What was that at? Strand Theater?
No, it wasn't the Strand. No, it was that place on Mass Ave in Cambridge or something.
That wasn't the Roxy?
I left the group. Remember, I left, and then y'all did a show, and I came on stage. I don't know where it was at, but
I remember that. I thought it was the record release party.
No.
Oh, was it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was. I think you're right, Steve. I think it was.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah, I
was
left the group and then got what do you call it? Like I wanted to still be down. So I came back and did a show with y'all. You let me.
oh, man.
Oh,
We've
nice.
always stayed brothers, and one of the most beautiful things, and I tell you this all the time. I tell you this all the time now. Again, we all went on our journeys, and we're still on our journeys, and it's beautiful to come together. But in 2010, my mother passed away, and Taymullah, he came down. Corey was there as well, but Taymullah came down, and it meant a lot for me for him to come there and to support me at that time. And for him now, with the loss of his dad. We was always, you're going to have brothers. I'm sure you might have siblings and family members that you may not see for a while, but that family bond never leaves. And when you see each other, it just makes you that much happier to see them, and makes the embrace that much tighter.
That's right. That's right.
That gives me so much joy knowing that you guys still have that bond.
Yeah.
So many people don't have that same story when they've been in a group together.
True.
So this is truly a blessing. And so now where is everyone part of the US are you in? Because everyone's still in the States, I'm imagining.
Yes. I live close to Washington, D.C.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm still in Massachusetts on the East Coast.
Nice.
I'm in Massachusetts and Florida. I have a place here and I have a place there. So try to share time with the old man as much as possible since he had a stroke in 2016. So
the old man being the legendary Maurice Starr, of
Legendary, legend.
How you gonna play him like that? How you just gonna say the old man?
We just refer to him as the old man. No.
No, that's the lingo. Yeah.
How is he doing?
How is he doing? How is he doing?
He's good. He's doing better. He lost the mobility on his left side, so it's a journey. It's been a journey, and he's still fighting, and so it's beautiful. It's a change, but he just loved. We were just watching the 5 Heartbeats yesterday. I haven't seen it in so long.
Yes, one of my favorite top 5 movies.
Yeah, great movie and great story. So he loves to watch his old stuff. The old New Edition, New Kids on the Block stuff. He loves looking at the old Perfect Gentleman stuff, everything. Superiors, everything. Foursome D's and actually Bow-Legged Lou. They just spoke the other day, and he always says his famous line to him, "I'm gonna kick you." They say it out of love.
Yeah. No, I saw the summer tour in 2022, New Kids on the Block, that Maurice had a chance to be with them.
Yeah, so that was very special. We did everything we can. Donnie and I talked, and we orchestrated it, and we really, because it was the last show and it was in Orlando. So we spoke about it. I said, listen, I'm going to rent the van. I'm going to get there. It's going to be a handicapped van. We'll get them down there. And it was a beautiful moment. They just shut down everything. And it was all about him. It was very laughed. It was like, laughter, tears and everything. But it was a great moment, and because that was the first time he's really been out other than going to doctor's appointments since, he had the episode. And when he had the stroke, he was just leaving the movie, the New Edition movie, Beverly Hills. And he just got home that night, and that night he landed. He had the stroke.
Wow.
Well, we want to send all of our love and our prayers and let him know, we give him a huge thank you for bringing you, New Edition, and New Kids into our lives. So,
thank you.
Oh, I used to hope he would be in Edmonton one day, just walking around looking for a girl. Oh man, I used to have a girl group too, so we used to be hoping.
It ain't too late. Keep singing. Maybe we'll all get on the stage at some point.
Yeah.
Edmonton.
In Edmonton, yeah.
Get up.
Set it up.
Is like the whole Starr family talented? Is everybody
Yes.
musical?
Yes.
They are.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess so. It's kind of like, but you know what? Again, Tyrone's family, everybody's family is Taymullah. I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, that's fine. Tyrone is fine.
Taymullah's family as well. His brother, you know his brother, he was a choreographer, and that was actually before I got in the group, and it was just 3 of them as well. You know, he's amazing.
But no, we're not gonna do that. No, here's what we said. She's right. We're not gonna talk about my brother's choreography. They were since we were young kids, 12, 13, they were musical prodigies. And see, you know that for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Pick up any instrument and just figure out any instrument. Like,
wow.
It's really, I didn't realize it then, but now, just as an adult, I said, man, those guys were just like really geniuses. They were like anointed when it comes to instruments and music and having an ear for that. Like, so yes, all of the Starr family is definitely anointed around music. It's amazing to watch.
Wow.
We all shared in the talent and having a great time. Again, I still got to give Mel some flowers. Y'all might remember homework. He was nice. He could sing. That dude could hit them high notes, man. It's beautiful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I tell you, man, the only dude I know really who could give Bobby Brown a run for his money on stage is Taymullah right there. So
you crazy. That's crazy.
Come on, man. You already know.
Now we both old. Me and Bobby both old.
I see Bobby working, getting it back. He's catching up with the moves there for that residency. Yes. I see him in there.
Yes, yeah. God bless him.
And what's unfair is when you were as good as he was, and you see him again, it's like you only want to see him at the top of his game. Just him, surviving and making it through, and still giving his all, because that was a tough thing for them to come back together and to stay together. But they're brothers, just like new kids as well. They came back together, and and just like us, we never left each other.
Mm-hmm.
We always supported each other, no matter what.
I like that. How much of an impact or an effect did New Edition have on you guys?
Taymullah?
Well, I tell you what, I grew up the street from them, and when in the 80s, you're talking about like 83, they used to come around on their mopeds, and they were like the Jackson 5 to us. So the whole neighborhood would say, New Edition is at Washington Park, which is like a 5-minute walk from us, and we run down there just to get a glimpse of them on their mopeds.
Wow.
So they were an influence on us in the 80s when we didn't really have any other role models, right? And there weren't a lot of outlets for Black boys. So they showed us that it was possible to think bigger than your block and your neighborhood. So I think not just the music part, but just the idea of dreaming. And I think that's where Maurice Starr comes in, because he's a person like a revolutionary. When he planted his flag in Boston, he gave Black Boston, the right to dream. We weren't dreaming before him. There was nobody dreaming any dreams before Maurice. So the props is to New Edition, definitely. And, later we became friends with Bobby and Ralph. But Maurice is the one that really planted the seed that allow us to say, like, man, it's possible. Anything is possible if you're consistent and you dream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it basically started like ABC, The Boy. Like, basically this whole thing started from New Edition, like from this dream, like this yeah.
And I don't want to get political, but like, if you look at the 80s into the 90s, like there was a thing called Boston busing. There was a busing issue in Boston with there was a huge segregation issue between South Boston, which was like white people at the time. They were racist, and they didn't want Black kids busing with them into other schools. And this lasted several decades. So Boston in the 80s was very, very divided around racial lines. And I think, again, what Maurice doesn't get credit for is doing this. Like he integrated a lot of people based on music. And I think if we just look at it as pop music, we really do it a disservice, because it was really, he changed the landscape of racial tension in Boston in the 80s and into the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true, because it was like, if you were black, you couldn't go to South Boston. You get beat up. If you was white, you couldn't in the Roxbury, or you get beat up, But here we are, all of us in Roxbury, that's including New Kids on the Block, over at 27 Dudley Street. And you got, at one point, before, after New Kids, you got thousands of fans,
Yes,
in front of this place in Roxbury, trying to get a glimpse. So he may have, it's funny you brought that up, Taymullah, because, he may have had a big hand in,
that's a fact.
changing that culture. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Wow. Yeah.
That's pretty huge. Like, I'm really glad you said that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did the success of New Kids on the Block affect your lives and shape the foundation of Perfect Gentlemen? Like, obviously, you went on tour together.
Like Taymullah said, we grew up, right? We grew up in the inner city. And so it was very tough. And then, you kind of go from the inner city to Pop saying, hey, we got a gig for y'all. And it's like the Arsenio Hall show. You know what I mean? So you go from going to schools where, people got guns and everything. You're going out to go to LA, you get on the most popular TV show at the time, and then you come back, go back to that school, and I mean, it's, I think we was able to appreciate it differently because, we kind of grew up with less, and it gave us an opportunity to have more and be able to adjust in life as the Dow Jones, happens. So, but it's been a great experience that, I mean, it's almost, you can't even explain it because it doesn't seem real. Like we were young, we were having fights after the show. When the show was over, we had food fights. We would throw all the McDonald's and everything at each other. And but that's after, growing up kind of hungry, you know what I'm saying? Without no McDonald's. You're going to eat from Mama McDonald's and get you a hamburger. It don't taste like no McDonald's. So it was great, though.
How about for you, Corey?
Oh, for me, I think it changed my life, obviously. But getting out and seeing different parts of the country, I heard Steve talk about doing the different shows and just, I think everything happened so fast that it was just like, let's go, let's do this. You didn't have time to really think about it and everything. And at the time when people would go by the House of Hits, I would have to look out my window to see if anybody was out there so I could take out the trash or, just do small things like that. Wow. Because I lived 3 doors down from the studio. Wow. But it really prepared me for life overall, just being able to navigate different situations that, you're not necessarily comfortable in. I hate public speaking, but when people say, but you used to do this, and I'm like, I don't know how I did it. I don't like dancing. I couldn't dance then either. So that, that's neither here nor there, but all these things that I did then just let me know that was a vessel to get to here and now. I'm so appreciative of it. I don't have any blood-born brothers, but I've been blessed with so many brothers, Taymullah, Stephen, Reese, wherever he is right now, Larry, and just everybody. It's
Bobby.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been such a blessing to me. And just even sitting here talking about these things, you know, like my kids have no idea really, you know, of anything. They just think I'm some weird guy with a cereal box on my bar. So it's like, who's that? And I'm like, well, read it, but
Right.
So, you know, the new kid success helping us. I think one of our first shows, correct me if I'm wrong, Ty, was at the Boston Garden.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
89, 90. I don't know what year, but yeah.
Yeah. So telling somebody that, you know, oh, I've performed at the Boston Garden, or, you know, where I live here in DC, the old Redskins stadium, RFK, like we've performed there. Like, you know, I go to these areas and people are like, how do you know this? Like, well, you know, once upon a time, I've been through here. Yeah. So that success boiled down to, you know, life now. And I'm just rambling. So, yeah. But no, it's, you know, everything was meant for a reason, and their success led to this right here, this brotherhood that we have. You know, I'm appreciative of it all.
Yes, sir.
So you're talking about the kids. I'm going off script because now I'm interested in what the kids know about their parents growing up and the music you made. Have they seen the music videos?
I've never shown it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't say yes or no, but I haven't.
But they may have Googled it on their own. Yes.
Yeah. My son might have, you know, Googled his name and been like, wait a second, who's
right.
this?
Corey Blakely, right.
Yeah.
Do you guys look at the videos?
I can't say. Every so often someone will send me something, you know, on YouTube, and maybe then. But not really. No.
Yeah, I think you know, my kids did a little Google research, and you know, it's a big deal in the house. You know, my son, he walks out from school one morning, my 14-year-old, and he has on one of my Perfect Gentleman tour jackets. Like he's going to school with it on. Nice. So he wore it the whole year, and it was like a thing. Every time I went to pick him up, everyone's like, hey, you know. So it was a conversation starter about what I used to do in the past in my house, because that was something we never spoke about. And he kind of like dug that out of the archives. And so, yes, it's, you know, my kids think it's like this weird moment in life. Like that was just a weird moment. And my other son's like, man, you had on a polka dot suit, and like, what were you guys thinking? So, so yeah, it's weird. But no, as Corey said, sometimes someone will send us a video, we'll check it out. And if I think it's cool enough, I'll send it to the other guys. Like maybe they haven't seen this either. But I think the mistake that the guys like us make is that we don't find another defining moment in our lives, right? Like, so the blessing of the Perfect Gentleman is that, as you can see, Stephen has a great career. He's traveling, he's doing his thing. He's in Florida now. Corey went on to have a great military career. Retired, if I'm correct, right? See?
Yes.
Retired. Still working in some capacity, travels all over the world. Like if you look at his Instagram, he's everywhere. He's a successful man. And, you know, Maurice Jr. with his group, and, you know, and of course, Stephen is a part of it, and he has his family, and they're still traveling around making a living. And my point is that if you look at High Five, you know, and we shared the same tailor, High Five, Tony Thompson, he's dead from overdose. The Neutrons, who we used to, you know, bump into in different circles, the Neutrons, a young group, their lead singer dead. If you look at all of those groups from back then, a lot of us made the mistake of defining that moment in our life as the definitive moment. Like we'll never have another moment where, you know, it's a great moment in our lives, but we had to move on and like find a way and find out we were worth more than that 3 or 4 years. And I think that that's why we're here, through God's grace, through the love and support of our parents, and through the support system we had for each other. It allowed us to still survive and be here and not just be existing or on drugs, but actually thriving and with family. So it's a great blessing.
Absolutely. Right on, brother. Right on.
I'm so glad to know that you guys didn't fall for those pitfalls, like,
yeah.
I feel like the family of people and musicians that you were touring with and everything seemed to like be really stand-up people who took care of each other, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, we had some.
Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, sorry. We were young, but we had some great people around us. We didn't know it at the time as much as we do now, but guys like Tyrone Proctor, who was the dance doctor, he did created the whacking stuff. If you see him with Jody Watley and different people,
yes,
but he was
rest
like,
in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. He was so amazing with us. Now, we were young. We didn't understand that he was trying to protect us from ourselves.
Yes.
So kind of hard on us, but we didn't realize how much we needed that until later, And we were protected from, like the drugs and all the other stuff that was happening and available to the other people. And also, my father wouldn't let that stuff around us either. So it was great to have, because he's never drank, he's never done any kind of drugs in his life. So he wouldn't have that around us, and we were protected from it. And I'm thankful for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm incredibly happy to hear that. We have a new arrival.
Uh-oh.
Welcome, Maurice.
How you doing?
Hello.
Peace, baby bro. What's happening?
Nothing, man. Running around like crazy, man. Today's my running around day, so.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for logging in, my brother. Good to see you.
Oh, man. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Man, this is a
But now
blessing
you
to have
got
you
to
all
answer the
together.
next
It's
4
crazy.
questions.
That's right. It's all you. Well, I'm thinking back to the music now and thinking about the songs that I really enjoyed, and one of them was "Move Me, Groove Me."
That was my jam.
Here she comes again. What's Tyrone gonna do? Maurice, cool. I'm over her, honest. Right. No one can move me and groove me like you do. You're really something special. Move me and groove me like you do. I'm all shook up. I just can't stop thinking about you. I'm all shook up. There's nobody better. I'm all shook up. The way that I feel, I know this feeling's real. I'm all shook up. I thought it lasts forever.
Totally. I still get that in my head all the time. It's an earworm. I love it. And also in 93, "I Need You" is a total bop as well. That's a great one.
I regretted leaving when I heard that joint.
Show
Now, for each of you, of all the music you put out, which album tracks did you each wish would have been a single? We can start with Maurice.
Off the first or second album.
Either. Or both.
Well, off the first album, obviously, Birthday Girl. That should have been a number one single. No, I feel like off the first album, all the tracks that should have came out as singles definitely. The second album, I do feel like maybe Don't Worry About a Thing, I feel like, or I Need You should have been the first single.
Yeah.
And I never really was too crazy about the slow song being the first single of the second album after being going for so long. So I mean that's the second album. Those two maybe I would have thought would have been better to be the first one.
All right, thank you, Corey.
Don't Worry About a Thing. I think that was, and then there are some songs that we recorded that never saw an album.
Wow.
And those are actually some of my favorite songs. I've been trying to get them from Skeeter for years. I'm gonna have to go out there and run through his stuff, but I definitely think Don't Worry About a Thing. That was one of my favorite songs, still is. There's another one out there.
We're Not Saved by the Bell.
Saved
by the Bell.
I remember
that could have replaced the Saved by the Bell theme song for the TV, right?
Oh,
they don't even know. They don't even know.
Taymullah?
Yeah, I think I agree with Reese that everything that needed to come out on the first album did come out. I was never a fan of Ooh La La. I never thought that was like the strongest song on the album. But I think everything that came out was good. For the second album, like I really I would sit and listen to it and be like, did I do the right thing? Like I made a big mistake. That was such a solid album, man. Like I loved every song on that album. And I think Don't Worry About a Thing was good. Don't Forget the Call. A lot of those songs I had sung already. I left the group really late. So when I heard them again, I heard them redone over, and shout out to Mass Pike Miles. So when I heard them redone with the rest of the guys singing them, Steven and Mass, I said, damn, they killed that. You know what I mean? Like they maybe took it somewhere else. And so I was like, damn, like I just would want to be a backup dancer for these guys singing this stuff. Like I was really upset because I felt like I missed out on the opportunity for that mature sound. And that album achieved it. Like that album had that real, like you said, it was a bop, and it had that real New Jack swing to it. So, I prefer the second album, in terms of the musicality of it.
I agree, and especially New Jack Swing. Oh, that was it for me in the 90s. I just loved it so much. Steven, what about you?
I'm gonna, jump on the bandwagon with the rest of the guys and say the first album, everything that was on there pretty much came out. But one of my favorite songs is "Rings Around the Moon." I love that.
Absolutely,
yeah.
That's one of the great ones, man. I think that probably could have been released. But that Don't Worry About a Thing. And it's funny because our father, he's as the producer, he's going to want his songs to come out first, and the call, because we had guys like Eddie F, we had Tim and Bob, we had Dallas Austin that was on the second album, and it would have been great if Taymullah would have joined us for that, man. That would, that would have been awesome, man. Because we always been brothers, and even when he came up on the stage with us, that was a feeling for me. Because before I was in the band, before I joined the group, so we would all share the stage anyway, but it was in a different capacity. But to be on stage with this dude, man, who was such an amazing performer, such an amazing lead guy that can do his thing, it felt really good. So, but
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
enjoyed that opportunity. I feel like he had gave me the opportunity. But we go on our journey, and it's a beautiful thing to see how things evolve. You know, even on my journey now, some people might be like, "Oh, this guy is crazy," but as you know, things evolve. It's like, oh wow, all right, that's my brother. Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Yes.
Okay, that's what he was doing.
Right.
You know, so I love it. And the destination is the journey. You're not gonna get anywhere in life. You're already there, so we gotta enjoy it. You know? Yeah.
Messages. We'll be right back.
Hey, friends. I kind of miss getting those messages on my answering machine like we used to back in the day. What I'd really love is to hear from you, the listeners of Dope Nostalgia. This is your chance to be on the show, giving feedback, telling us what you love, what you hate, and who you'd like to see more of. Call us at our new toll-free number, 1-888-741-9192. Leave us some feedback. Your message could be played on the show. So give us a call, 1-888-741-9192. Toll free.
This is Brooke.
And this is Nikki.
And this is my so-called whatever.
Hey!
Hey guys, we're an 80s and 90s / NKOTB podcast.
That's New Kids on the Block, if you didn't know that.
We're here to share your stories.
Yeah.
And ours.
Yeah.
And
have a good time.
Have a great time.
Let's be nostalgic.
Talk about what it was like growing up.
In the 80s and the 90s.
Talk about what we were wearing, the music we were listening to, the bands we liked,
the movies we watched,
the TV shows, all the pulp culture stuff.
All of that stuff. That's what we talk about in this podcast. So,
and a heavy helping of New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you aren't a New Kids on the Block fan, that's okay, because we flip-flop between the topics each week. So we do a New Kids on the Block episode one week, which we call the Block Party, and then we do a 80s 90s episode. So
which is 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And we welcome you to listen to one or the other or all.
Yeah. Join us. Be our guest.
Be our guest. Thanks.
Bye.
Hi, we're 4 p.m. and this is Dope Nostalgia.
Get your ski shined up, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya. Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move you when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. It juices soft, it gets right to ya. Juicy fruit, the taste is gonna move ya.
I'm going to pass it over to Karella for some questions.
Who did you guys meet that had the biggest influence on you?
As far as after we started singing or before?
Either one, either one.
But at least for me, it's like my father was always one of my big musical heroes. I mean, just as far as a musician and a singer, it's just like, even still to this day, I meet people at different shows. It's like, yo, your father's amazing. Like, seen this dude play with his feet one time, play behind his back, teeth and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, for me, he was definitely always one of my biggest influences as far as a musician. Before, I mean, we started. You know what I'm
saying?
Wow. So, I think for me, being on the Oprah Winfrey show, seeing that was meeting her was pretty cool. But honestly, we met so many people that I tend to forget. You know, like, oh, remember when we met? I'm like, no, I don't.
Right.
But I know I was there.
Yeah.
So it's I think Oprah. I don't know why, and it was just a few minutes. Raphael Sadiq.
I remember that.
We were just in Oakland, and he was just back in there hanging out with us, and like it was just kind of surreal. Like, why is this dude here hanging out with us? But there's so many people that we met along the way. You know, you go into someone's city, and they're just coming to the show. So there were a lot, but those two for some reason for me.
Yeah, I would say for me. Yeah, I would say for me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Naomi.
No, it's okay. You're good.
Okay, I would say for me, I think it was Eddie Kendricks. I don't know if y'all remember Eddie Kendricks.
Oh, you met him? Wow.
Yeah, Eddie Kendricks. He's the lead singer of the Temptations. Obviously, he was backstage for a few days hanging out with us. And at the time, I knew I loved Motown music, but I couldn't appreciate the level at which this man was, right? And at the time, he was sick and old, and he died a few months later. But now, when I think about it, like meeting that legend was huge. It was a huge thing, and I think that, you know, that along with, I think what Reese said, I have to co-sign what Maurice Jr. said in terms of his father. Maurice was so accessible, almost too much accessible, almost too much down to earth, that we didn't really appreciate his legend and his artistry and his brilliance. And I think that the world doesn't realize that this guy is really responsible for all the music, all the R&B music of the 90s. Like, every group can trace their lineage back to Maurice. And he doesn't get that props in terms of his revolutionary position that he took. So yeah, I think Eddie Kendricks, in a way that was kind of looking at a cautionary tale. And that's a longer story. But in terms of like realizing someone who really had an impact, I think I have to go with Reese and say it's Maurice Sr.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to jump on the bandwagon again and say Pop. But I'm also going to say we was in the airport in DC, I think it was, and we met Cab Calloway. He was wheelchair, but it was just a pleasure to meet, you know, this guy who was just a straight legend. But again, I mean, guys like Dick Gregory, just being around the house, you know, that you don't realize who's around until you get on another journey in life later on and be like, oh, I wish I could have asked them questions. And
yes,
you know, but it's almost surreal because again, we were younger and we were, you know, chasing our tails at the same time, and we only had time for what we, you know, had time for. And but it's just been such an amazing journey to meet all the people. I think Paul was great to meet. He was a nice guy. I don't know. I could go on for days, but yeah, my number one hero is Pops, no question about it.
Wow.
I'm so glad he's getting his flowers today.
Yeah,
really,
for real.
really glad.
For real. Mm-hmm. Anything that you guys wore that you regret? Other than that polka dot jacket,
Everything.
everything, the shoulder pads, the
I
whole
know
nine.
I feel like the cow suits though,
Yes.
man. The cow joints. No, Jesus Christ. Wow.
Oh.
That was the move, me groove.
Oh. So good. The haircuts were great.
Oh,
I love the hair.
that high top fade.
Crazy.
Well, it's all coming back in style now.
Yep, that's true. See,
That's
Yeah, it's all coming back in style.
True.
You know, I still wear my rhinestone jacket whenever I get a chance to. So
I wish I could find that tweed jacket.
I don't see what's so funny about it. You know,
Beautiful. We should
I
post
can
an
still fit it in
Instagram photo
everything.
in it. Do it.
Where do you wear it?
Uh,
Where do you go in it? Like, what's the occasion? Dinner? Like, where do you go?
No, it hangs in a closet here. Just because my mother was like, all right, you got to get all your stuff out of my house. So it's here. And yeah.
You find it like Eddie Kane?
Hold on.
Oh.
We was watching that movie yesterday, bro. Me and your daddy. We was watching 5 Heartbeats.
Do you guys keep some of your outfits?
I only had a few jackets. I have a few tour jackets. That's it. I don't even know where everything else is.
Yeah. Or any of the memorabilia.
They're gonna see right there with that. Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd wear that.
Yeah.
Hell
I'd
yeah.
wear that. Yeah.
I would wear that now. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's tight.
Who's doing your making your outfits?
Jesse, a guy named Jesse. What was Jesse's last name?
Jesse Harris.
Jesse Harris.
Yeah.
Yep, Jesse Harris.
Yeah.
And I can remember some of the drawings. He was like, "Oh yeah," you know, he'd have it all sketched out and stuff.
Wow.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's like,
some of the stuff is like, who allowed this?
I think a lot of people from the 80s can say that, but I know we can definitely do that. A lot of them damn outfits.
You know, and I was so short and skinny back then, none of the clothes would really fit me. So, like,
That's
you look
funny.
at some of those pictures, my socks are even too big on me. Oh man, yeah.
What's advice you would give yourself at 16?
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
I wouldn't change a single thing. Enjoy the
Save-
ride.
Save your money. Save your money.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would have told myself, get a video camera. I wish I had a video camera to have all those moments. You know what I mean? Just to be able to watch them, show my kids, like, yeah, look who's doing this, who's there, because we went so many places, and I was a kid, so I was oblivious to just what we were doing, really.
True.
Like, I mean, that's a crazy thing. You don't really think about it until you're an adult. Like places we were playing, the people we were meeting. It's just like it was just a regular day of me hanging out with my friends. You know what I'm saying? But, like,
True.
yeah, I mean, like, oh, we're about to go do the huge show. It's like, yo, we about to go do the show, and then we go back to the hotel and go chill and have a wood fire. So,
Yeah. You remember we got kicked out the hotel in Miami?
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. We went low nuts with that one.
The water gun fight.
No doubt.
Ooh, do tell.
What about what?
I don't remember. I don't know if I was there, but I don't know if that was when I left.
What was that?
I don't know if I was there. I don't know if that's when I left. I don't remember that.
In Miami, the water gun fight?
I don't remember.
You were certainly there.
You was there.
You were certainly there. Because We had this. You had the Super Soaker. Remember the very first Super Soakers?
I don't remember, man.
Stephen said hi. Stephen said hi.
Hi.
Hey, baby.
What? What it do, nephew? That's awesome.
Yeah, we touched on some things that you guys are up to now. Stephen and Reese are making music, right? What's the name of the band, and where can we see you guys perform?
Well, Maurice is still doing this thing fully. I'm doing construction fully. You know, you see,
Okay.
So I got to finish building these stairs and everything. But when I get a chance, I stop in and I lend the talent that I have and play some bass, jump on the keys, and maybe sing a little bit with him.
Nice.
Up there. It's a pleasure because them boys are bad. They really sound good. And but music is, and Reese doubles as well because he also works in the medical field as well as still doing music. But I'm really looking forward to possibly everybody jumping on some tracks together and doing something. And because my son, this guy, actually both of my sons are really, really talented, and they're doing rap out of Atlanta. But I would love for us to jump on some wax together. So this is an informal invitation, brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's reunite.
Absolutely. We might be a little too late for the magic scimitar that's about to come.
Donnie would make it happen. You know that.
I know that. Actually, he would.
Yep. 100%. And Corey spent a lot of time, and obviously we talked about the military service. Are you still in the military now, or are you retired?
No, I'm retired. I retired from the military. It'll be 7 years here soon. So I just kind of backpack around the world and just kind of live out life. I'm enjoying this other side of it, and try to be home, and I just enjoy the space that I'm in. That's why I say, touring and all that stuff prepared me for this in life. I spend a lot of time in airports and different places and just, seeing the world, trying to learn everything I can about it. And I live not too far. Well, from Winnipeg for a while. I actually lived in North Dakota.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, I would travel up to Winnipeg quite a bit to go out and have some fun Canadian nights.
I'm guessing that was in the summertime.
No, I went up there during the winter also sometimes.
You're a brave man. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I just enjoy the space I'm in. Chatting with these guys every so often, and being in my space.
Taymullah,
not on my space.
I'm gonna put you
no
guys
one anymore is on MySpace.
I'm gonna put you guys on mute, but I'm listening. Go ahead. Okay.
Bro. Taymullah, I was going to ask you about your podcast. I believe X Conversations is the name. Yes.
So actually, Naomi, that's old at this point. We did that with Title in 2018. So I'm not doing that podcast anymore. I just released a book called American Imam on Broadleaf Publishing. It's about my story from pop stardom to prison abolition, which is my main focus now. So the book is American Imam. You can get it on all platforms. You can get the audio. You can go to Barnes & Noble. You can go to Amazon. And I have a company called Spentum, SPENTEM. You can go to spentum.com. And it's basically
I'm
sorry?
He's got the book there.
That's it. Thank you, see.
Excellent read to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Spentum.com is a wellness organization. We have programming for system-affected people, social emotional programming for them. And basically that's what I'm doing. I would love for people to follow Spentum. We're at official Spentum on all of the social media platforms. You can go to spentum.com. And yeah, that's what we're doing.
Oh, I love the work that you're doing to help people, especially you're working in prison still actively as well?
I worked in prison system for 10 years. I'm retired from the prison system. I basically have I'm an entrepreneur at this point, but I did work in there for 10 years and I still work with that demographic a lot. But yeah, I'm not physically in the prison anymore.
Okay. I gotta get the book. Good. I'm excited.
Please. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And Maurice,
That's
I was just
great
gonna
book.
touch on what you were doing with music right now.
Right now, I'm still, I guess, in a couple of different bands. Me and Steve, we had a band together. COVID kind of killed that out a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm still a mercenary at this point. I play bass and sing. I cover websites. I can go out there and right out there. But I'm, having fun with my kids. Loving life, taking life as I can.
Yes.
Proud to see everybody as we're adults, and everybody's growing to great men. I'm saying? That's really dope. What Kai's doing right now is really dope, and I really wholeheartedly support that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
And we had a couple listener questions, but we touched on them already quite a bit, I would say. Hey, Karella?
A few of them.
Yeah.
Are there more? Did you guys ever come over to Canada and do much music and meet Master T, I guess, because at the time we didn't have much, but did you guys come on this side and do? We only have one Canadian music station. We only need one guy doing black music. So we just did you guys ever come over here?
I remember.
No?
I'm sure, I'm sure if while we were touring up there, yeah, I can't say I remember or don't. So
I was going to say the same thing. I feel like every time we were up there, we usually up there with new kids. So it's like we really were kind of in and out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I really remember anybody hugely I met out there, I guess musically, because I feel like back then, really didn't know much about it as far as musical people.
Yeah.
I feel like in the early 90s.
I do have one incident. I could be crazy, but I want you guys to co-sign this or tell me if I'm wrong. I think we were in Canada and we were warned that the skinheads were out in front of the hotel or something like this, that we had to go to a separate place or something. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's in my mind. I don't know if it happened.
You're right.
No,
Wow.
That sounds.
I want to say it was in Ottawa.
Maybe it was Ottawa. Okay, was it Ottawa or Toronto? It was Ottawa.
No, it was Ottawa. Toronto.
I'm
was
sorry
always
to put
cool.
I'm sorry to put it like a that negative thing on Canada, but if you ask for a memory, that's something that was in my mind. I don't, Canada is a great place, but that's what I remember about it.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people think that racism doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist as terribly as it does in the States, but it really does exist up here. And yeah, people don't think it does, and we're just living a happy life now.
Right.
Yeah, and that was what, 90 what, 91, 92, 90?
90.
Yeah, 90.
And it's crazy because you get guys, the new kids actually, what was that? What was we on a plane somewhere where they got into a fight with these guys? Yeah. So I mean, you think about it, there was a time where, blacks and whites didn't, go in the same neighborhoods, but now here we go, we're on a plane or we are in hotels, and new kids are fighting skinheads because that's just, that's where we are. That's the brotherhood that we all have. So it's a powerful thing. And again, Donnie is, all of those guys are our brothers, but, Donnie is always there if I ever need anything, not just tickets or anything, but call him, I could talk to him about anything. You know what I mean? So
Agreed. He's been a good mentor, advisor, friend, still to this day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than Oprah and Arsenio, did you guys go on any other shows? And who was your favorite host?
was it Rick Dees?
Oh
I remember
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Did
Joan
we do
Rivers.
Joan Rivers?
Joy.
Natalie Cole's Big Break.
Wow.
Um,
I don't know, but I would say Arsenio was my favorite because he treated us really well. You know, he came back, introduced himself, was kind to us. Oprah, I don't remember, guys, we didn't meet Oprah until we were actually on the stage, and like
on
that
the
was
stage, yeah.
We never. I didn't see her again after that. No disrespect to Oprah, but yeah, that's the only memory I have of her is actually on the stage.
To what Ty was saying, I don't remember having an actual conversation with Oprah.
Right.
Just on the stage.
I really thought about that too. I was like, wow, yeah, I don't remember that. I mean, I do remember like a couple of other shows we did, because I mean, I feel like we did most of all of them, like Geraldo Rivera, all the shows during that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Rick Dees was new at the time when we did his show.
Yeah.
I mean, but what's crazy is I feel like, at least for me, sometimes some of the people who would meet, I didn't realize the significance of those people.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even to what Ty was saying earlier, meet Eddie Kendricks, I'm just like, yo, who's this dude?
Right.
You know, I mean, he's one of the Temptations. You know? One of the best groups of all time. And I'm just like, I'm getting off stage tired. Like, yo, who's this dude? I mean, what's crazy too is I swear I saw David Jamont yesterday.
Yeah,
he brought him back. Where I saw him yesterday walking down the street.
Yeah, he's around. He's around now. Yeah. and the thing is this: I'm gonna mention a name to you, and I don't want to drag this on, but Frankie Crocker. Frankie Crocker is a legendary black DJ, the first black DJ in this kind of music, this genre. And Maurice made it a point to grab us and take us to meet Frankie Crocker. And he passed away shortly thereafter. And like, I hear about who he is now. I didn't know it at the time, but like, to have met Frankie Crocker was really a big deal. And Jack the Rapper and like all these people who are legends now. Lionel Richie.
Oh, wow.
No kidding. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, those Jack the Rapper things were amazing. Those conventions.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah, they were amazing. They were almost like the Freakniks a little bit. Reese, you remember when Tupac and them got into the fight with Dr. Dre and them?
The infamous,
Sure.
yeah.
We sitting. I feel like we were sitting on the upper balconies with them dudes that had the Chief Rocker. Well, not the Chief Rocker film up there too. What was their names? Lords of the
Factory. Oh, you're talking about Naughty by Nature.
It was Naughty by Nature.
Yeah.
Oh, it was up there.
It was
treacherous. Yeah, I remember seeing that. It was crazy.
Right. Yeah, they picked him up like a doll and carried him away.
Wow.
Good times.
What is your most scandalous touring story?
Scandalous touring secret?
Secret?
Story
Yeah, even
from
better.
touring. Yeah.
We're perfect gentlemen. Why would we have
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Oh.
Where has your music career allowed you to travel to? And you know, which place have you visited that you like the most?
I think Hawaii for me was a big deal. We spent some time in Hawaii, and that was really fun. It was different and exotic for me, you know, being a kid, being from the concrete in Roxbury. So I think when I think about touring, I always think about that time we spent in Hawaii, because I believe we had some time off there to really like vacation. A lot of the places we went were just like 2 days of just work. You know, we drive in, sleep, wake up, perform, get on the bus, go another place. But I remember us having some time in Hawaii, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Hawaii, that was the start of the tour. And I want to say the end of the tour was in Arizona. And I fell in love with Arizona. I know we were there for a few days also on a resort, just kind of, you know, relaxing a little.
Mm.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to say Hawaii too, definitely, because I think that was the start of the Summer Magic Tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because and the crazy thing is, I feel like we was in LA at the time, so we had to fly from LA to Boston to fly back to LA to get on a connecting flight to Hawaii. So it was like we was living on the freaking plane just to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a different place. What's crazy is I remember like in San Diego when I went there. We was on tour. Yeah, I remember loving the weather and just loving how it was out there at the time. I was a child, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen, how about you?
I'm not sure where I can really say my favorite place was. I think I enjoyed being on the road, just traveling from state to state. That was really, really beautiful, just to be able to traverse the states and see, the places in between the places. It's funny because one day I enjoyed looking around so much that I got left. We was in North Carolina. And everybody got off the bus to get something to eat. And I said, I'm not hungry. But then I said, you know what? Let me go get something to eat. I think that was probably around halfway. Everybody already got their stuff. I said, let me go get something to eat. So I go get me something to eat. I'm playing a video game in the back too. And they finally give me my food. I'm like, all right, cool. I go outside and I didn't see the tour buses. And I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe they drove around.
I remember that.
Walked to the front. And there was this old sweet lady, man. She was so nice. She said, were you with those tour buses? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, oh, well, they left you, baby. So I was in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. And,
I remember that. And I remember Skeet did the head count.
I was able to call my father. They called the sheriff to sit with me. And then Skeeter, there was some fans following the tour bus. So Skeeter, he and I were just talking about that because he was just in Florida about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he commandeered their vehicle. It came back and got me. It was an old school Camaro with holes all in the muffler. It was like we was in a helicopter the whole way. But it was great to see him and great to hear that. Great to hear that hoopty. So,
that's a good tour story.
There you go. Yeah.
That.
Do you guys listen to music today? Like what do you guys feel about today's music, and like who do you guys listen to, if you guys listen to anybody new?
Me, I don't listen to any new music. I listen to everything. School. Everything is from David Ruffin and Eddie Kendricks and the old stuff. The newer music. Now there are talented people out here, but it's just the direction. I feel like the direction that music is going in isn't really conducive to growth for our people or any people. It's like a trap. It's not just trap music. It's like a trap, and I think it's unfortunate because you have a division going between men and women. You can't really get along. Just this whole. I don't want to sound like a dad or an old man, but I really think that the music back in the days, it was more having a good time, the house parties, and you could still dance and everything. Now people just are getting, so soon as they turn the song on, they want to go shooting and stuff. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a lot more like positive back then and more like positive messaging. Now it's messy.
It was actually love songs. I don't think there are any love songs out today. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Just the Mooney Long one, but
yeah. I love King George though. King George is my guy. You guys heard of him?
No.
He's the down south guy. He's got like this country kind of rap kind of thing going on. He's got a beautiful voice. King George. It's
October London.
So he got some great stuff out. Check him out. You won't be sorry. Check him out. King George.
Okay. I will. Yeah. Taymullah, have you been listening to anything new?
I agree with Stephen, man. I stay, if I listen to music, it's either 90s hip hop or like Delphonics, the Blue Magic, Stevie Wonder. I really can't get into what they're doing now for the reasons that Stephen mentioned. It's just, and again, people say when you get older, you're hating. You're hating on the new generation. No, wrong is wrong. It's like fratricide, brothers killing brothers and branding it and creating jingles and chants about it and putting out in the world, and we're downloading it and perpetuating that on each other. It's just really, really sad to see.
Yeah. Corey.
October London, I think that's his name.
He's dope. He's dope.
He's dope.
Yeah.
He's dope. He's dope.
But I don't listen to a lot of this newer music at all. It hurts me to turn on the radio. When I do turn on the radio, I'm like, I look at my kids and they're like, "What are you listening to?" And I'm like, "This is the music from my day." They just pop their earphones in, and I'm like, But yeah, I'm with what Taymullah and Stephen said. Mainly music from the '90s and earlier. It's that's it. Jodeci. I still listen to Jodeci, even though Stephen would play Jodeci until the tape would pop. You'd have to throw it out the window.
Maurice?
I totally disagree. No. I mean, honestly, I'm stuck in everything 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, some 2000s. A lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of stuff now is just, I just can't get into it because it's like watch wrestling. I know everything you're saying is made up, but it's affecting our communities. Unfortunately, is a problem. And then on top of that, I mean, there's no balance. So I feel like when we were younger, as much as we don't want to believe it, we had bad stuff. We had crappy music. We had music that was saying crazy stuff. Of course, Luke and Two Live Crew was out back during that time.
Right. So that's true.
Yeah.
That's
true. But there was a balance though. You could have Two Live Crew and you could have Public Enemy over here.
Right.
You could have Common over here and you could have whoever over there. So there was a balance. It was all this crap. It's like the difference between if I eat fast, that's not gonna be good for me. But if I can have a balance, I have cheat food sometimes and eat mostly healthy. Yeah, I mean it helps. So I mean, if we get more of that with the music, I feel like we'd be better off. But I don't know if it's ever going to get back to that because I feel like for the industry, there's easier money to be made from somebody that's more easily disposable. I mean, if somebody who's more talented, I got to do more to keep you. I got to do more. I got to pay you more. Somebody who's not necessarily. I can dispose of you as soon as the fad is over. You're gone.
You nailed it especially when you're talking about disposable, because like it's such a TikTok type of world now, right? Where everything is, you have to hook their attention within 5 seconds or they skip past you, right?
Anybody listening to the Beyonce country stuff? I'm asking for me because I love the movement. And I love I love Texas Hold'em.
Speaking of TikTok, outside of that one song, honestly, I haven't really heard the rest of the album. Sadly enough, I feel like I don't really listen to albums as much as I used to.
The album's actually not out yet, but coming soon. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
I think that whole country movement is the way to go. You're gonna hear, when you check out King George, you're gonna see, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. But that's something that's really been deep. That's something that's very deep within us all as well, because all of us here, we got roots in the South. You know what I mean? Although we were born in Massachusetts and Boston, but we have deep roots in the South. And when you go down there, and Like just being here, that Southern hospitality is something different. So when you hear, you know, our people singing country and Western or country music, it's not so different because it's just like talking to your grandparents or uncle that you can't really understand. It's like, okay, say that again 6 or 7 more times. But you know, it's just got a melody behind it. But I love it. It does something, you know, to the soul, I guess. And plus with having such bad music nowadays, to have something with some substance, you know what I mean? It's really refreshing. So I think Beyonce is gonna just take. She probably got bored with ruling, you know, R&B. So and now that whole country is like basically taking over the country.
Well, you guys, what we did here today, what a moment this is to have you all together. And I just thank you so much for making this happen, putting it together. It's incredible.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us. Thank you so much. And I, you know, I'm glad. I want to thank Corey because he picked up the ball. You reached out to me, Naomi, and I was too busy. But Corey is better. Everybody else on the state up there would be better than I am. Great things. But you know, it's a beautiful moment. Those guys are my brothers. Of course, Maurice and I are blood, but those guys are my blood as well. And we're all, you know, I mean, it's like my grandmother really wouldn't let a lot of family members come down to the house, but those guys can come down at any time. You know, their family all the time, all the time. She's very protective. She's old school, but no, those guys, 100%. It's a beautiful thing. It's such a pleasure to see everybody.
I agree.
Will we see you guys on stage somewhere? All 5, maybe 4, 3, anybody?
I would
Move Me, Groove Me remix.
I think we're just one song away. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy thing is we're all just one song away. You know, and to put on shiny suits. Although the 5 Heartbeats did look pretty sharp last night.
Yeah, no. And Karella, thank you for being here too.
Thank you, Karella.
You're wonderful.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me, man. I was in love with Perfect Gentleman. Like, man, I got the single. I didn't even have the full album. I got the single because we're in Canada, in the bush of Canada. So we didn't get music out there like that. And your sound was like New Kids.
Yeah.
So I was like listening to the Black New Kids in a kind of way because we didn't have none of this stuff, right? So I just you know, and I had crushes. So I just
thank you.
I'm just so glad to be a part of this. Thank you, Naomi.
Yes, thank you, Naomi.
Yeah, before we sign off today, and we just want to say hi to Miles, everybody. And
Yes,
each of you, if you want to leave your parting messages, I would love that.
Yeah, I want to shout out Mass Pike Miles, and I also want to shout out my brothers here, my brother Corey, Maurice, and also Stephen, and also a shout out to Chris Pittman as well. We shared a moment in time. Yeah. It's all good. We shared a moment in time that can't be duplicated, and it shaped all of our lives. And I just want to thank everyone for being here. And I'm so grateful that everyone is still healthy, alive, and thriving. And it's the testament to, you know, God's grace on all of us. So yeah, that's my message.
Thank you so much, Taymullah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I want to echo that. My brother, Taymullah, my brother Maurice, my brother Corey. Shout out to Mass Pike Miles. He's still in the music game. He's doing his thing. And you know what? I like his music as well. He's always had a great voice. So I want to support him and send him a shout out as well. But this is great. I can't wait to get, because my grandmother's got a cookout for us at 4 o'clock. So I'm running a little behind. So I'll be over there with the old man, with dear old dad. And he's going to be excited to hear about us being together and having this conversation and having this get together. So I appreciate it. Well,
we're sending all our love to him.
Yes.
Thank you.
Corey.
Yeah, I just want to echo, you know, thanking you, Naomi, Taymullah, Steve, Reese, Miles, Chris,
Oh yeah,
Larry, Bobby, you know, just that whole, I'll say, House of Hits family helped shape my life in so many ways that, you know, we all have our different relationships, but they all exist because of this one. You know, and it's whenever I do come home to Boston, I try to, you know, see everybody. It's like, it's hard to get all of us together at one chance. But, you know, I'm hoping that we can all, you know, do a cookout or do something together. I mean, we're all right here. So, yeah, I'm putting that into existence.
There we go. I'm with that.
That, you know,
Let's
that
do
would
it.
do that.
There's always one more chance of us getting back together.
No.
No, I don't think y'all want me singing on anything. But you know, I'm incredibly thankful for all of you, my brothers. It's you know, thank you and love you all.
Love you
Yeah,
too.
no doubt. Love you more, no doubt.
Maurice, you want to wrap it up by showing the love?
My son's pretty much part of the interview. Yeah, I mean, I just really want to send y'all all about Corey for putting everything together. I mean, definitely. And I mean, it's no matter how long it is, like in between times where I talk to all of them, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're family because we spent so much time together. We did something together that we don't get to do. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we're always intertwined. I can talk to one of them after like 5 months, and it's like, oh, I just talked to you yesterday. So, I mean, definitely shout out to Chris Pittman. He was actually the first lead single we ever had.
Yeah.
But you know what? Bobby Hill, he was in the group too for a quick second. And Tommy's super energetic ass. He was in the group too. You know what I'm saying? So we had a couple of different iterations. But as far as doing shows, Chris Pittman was actually the first lead singer we had. Yeah, I mean, so, I mean, sometimes you go through different iterations, but you know, he ended up with who we had. Because I mean, definitely big shout out to Taymullah, man. He was definitely one of the best front dudes, man, out of Boston. Yes, and that's saying a lot. You got people like Jordan, people like Bobby, people like Ralph, you know, like a huge tradition of like crazy front who just really bring everything together. You know what I'm saying? So I really that for us for sure. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, definitely like Miles Pike, you know what I'm saying? Another great front man we had, you know, at the time. You know what I'm saying? Just love everybody. Love everybody. Love your family, yourself, man.
Yeah.
Love you back, brother. Love you
Junior
back.
on the film. I put my Junior. He's the next one. That's Top Flow. Top Flow is gonna be the next one.
Top Flow.
Twin.
Top Flow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Twin.
Yeah, man. Man, I can't get this guy to. No, just kidding. No, he's doing his thing. He's an exact like duplicate. Somebody put him in a copying machine, and he's me at his age. Taymullah, you remember? Man, listen, we gassed up the car, and we were gone.
It was menaceless.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been true joy. Thank you, and I love you guys.
Thank you. Love
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy that barbecue cookout. Have a good time.
I sure will. We'll send y'all some.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks again. All right.
Thank you.
Social media, yeah, we've got it. Send us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, Nostalgia Dope. Or on Insta, dope_nostalgia.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work.